Welcome back to the episode of Scryer's Room. I am your host, Fanfare.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mario.
And if you like the content of this episode, please go ahead and like and subscribe. It helps us out immensely. And with that, we're going to start with continuation of the Tales of Cugel the Clever.
So yeah,
Cugel the coolest.
He is the coolest.
Just for context, Cugel is a character from the Dying Earth series by Jack Vance.
This is a very old series, like around Tolkien era.
I think it's about 1950s, I think. That
Oh,
era.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty old.
Exceptionally classic.
The second book is of the Tales of the Dying Earth. It's solely devoted to Cugel the Clever, who, I'll remind everyone, is the worst.
Yeah, a lot of his cleverness seems to mostly be just picking, like, what's the worst thing I could do right now?
Just the ruthless dick.
He gets out of every situation by being the shittiest person in the room.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
The crab dragging others back into the bucket strategy of cleverness.
Yeah, and then he makes and then if you were to convince the other crabs to make a chain, and then he would scuttle along and then knock their claw off. That's a Cugel move right there. If he was a crab,
I'll pull you out once again on top.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
Goodbye.
Yes.
We'll come back for you. Always funny when they're leaving everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, where we left off, I believe he would just left the village that tricked him to be their new watcher.
Yeah.
And
He woke up a Cthulhu.
yes, and then as he was leaving with his involuntary wife, he woke up a Cthulhu in the lake because he broke the spell, because there always has to be a watcher or else the Cthulhu wakes up. But he specifically woke it up by lowering anchor and it getting hooked in its nostril, and he tried to pull on it.
Oh, man.
And then, yeah, the wave
Slapstick.
from the...
Could you imagine getting woken up, like from like a deep sleep, by a fish hook in your nose pulling you upwards?
I'd be furious.
I can't imagine what I would do to the small infestation that's right next to my bed.
Oh, man.
Well, the wave of it coming up out of the water capsizes the Cugel's boat while his wife drowns, and Cugel gets away.
Classic Cugel.
Yeah, classic Cugel.
We only sow, we never reap round here. We're Cugel.
Oh, man.
Which then, his next adventure is he happens upon this weird fucking stone formation that is like perfectly carved and weird and intricate, and there's all manner of different sized dudes who are carving at the walls, and he's like, what's up? And then
Keeping busy, everybody.
basically the foreman explains is that, like, yeah, we work for this wizard, and we're carving this to his designs, and it has to be perfect.
Wizards are like that.
And he's like, is it like a good job? And then the guy's like, oh yeah, he's a great master.
He doesn't put ghoulies on your organs to make you do things?
Get paid, like you get as much food as you need, you can like take breaks, like you
wizards are
library.
post-scarcity in like early fantasy. They're gods.
Yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, so as long as you just do your job, like he's a great master. And he's like, you want a job? And he's like, I don't know, I'll have to think about it. And he's like, that's fair, we want people who are considerate. It's like, okay.
Oh yeah, it's very nice over here in Germany. We have socialized health care. We have excellent employment benefits. It's incredible. Are you sure you don't want to come? This fucking guy put a bomb in my kidney, and that's legal where I come from. So I guess I'm not. I'll be back, Germany.
Basically, that's what happens. The wizard shows up, and he's just like, oh, hello. Like, want a job? He's like, I gotta think about it. And he's like, I don't know if I'm a good fit. And he's like, well, let me cast a divination to find out. And then he's just like, ah.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
And he's
Pretty
like,
good move.
huh. No, you got a lot of weird colors around you. He's like, oh, yeah? And he's just like, yeah, there's something going on with you. He's like, holding his liver. Like, I don't know what you mean. And he's just like, well.
Certainly no bombs in me.
Well, I can do like a more intricate divination. That takes a lot of work, though. And he's like, I don't know. He's like, I'll go get my preparation started. And he's like, okay.
Sure, it's no problem for us. We just want to make sure that everybody's safe and happy and can just be provided for. That's really not the jam where I'm from. This is real awkward.
Yeah, he described like being like immersed in like owl like entrails, and then
man.
having his nose widen so that he could put like a investigator worm into his like brain or something.
Man.
And he's just Google's like, I don't know about that. And then he was like, well, no, preparation must begin immediately. And then he just fucks off. And then Google's like, God damn it, I just like really want something to eat. Is really all I wanted. But he doesn't work for them, so he's not allowed to have any of the food. And so he's just like, God fucking damn it. So he just goes wandering off. And then he finds somewhere off towards the middle of this weird fucking pattern. There's like a pedestal. There's this weird like glob thing on there. It's like a creature he's never seen before. And he's like, huh.
I'm gonna eat that.
What's that? And he's like, I wonder if... He starts poking at it. And he's just like... I mean, it doesn't look very appetizing. What if I cook it? And then there's braziers just around, and so he just grabs it between like two sticks and roasts it.
Oh man!
And then just stuffs it in his mouth all at once because it's still kind of rubbery and unpleasant. And he just like glock, like forces it down. He's like, well, whatever. At least
I hope I don't die.
And he makes his way to the wizard's place, and he's just like, look, man, I don't know.
Have you seen my prized, disgusting slime? I've looked everywhere.
It's like, yeah. He's like, well, I still want to do that divination. He's just like, I really just wanted something to eat. You guys, like, haven't been hospitable. I don't eat this weird, gross glob thing. And then the wizard freezes in place and looks at him. He's like, describe it. And he describes it. And he's just like, 500 years of work gone to waste. And Kugel's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I just ate a thing because I was hungry. He was like, that's the whole purpose of the stone design, you idiot. He's like, I carefully calculated this over centuries and made this design to draw in that specific creature. It represents all of totality, like time and space, and you just fucking ate it. You have any idea what this is going to do to like the fabric of space and time? Kugel's like, ooh, what does like digesting it do? He's like, nothing good, asshole.
Yeah.
He's like,
when everything's shitty in a couple of hours, you'll know who to blame. You, for shitting out reality.
Yeah, so now he's got to be like, he's like, okay, no. Now what you're gonna do is there's one shot. I gotta go check, but sit right the fuck there. And then he goes and he does some wizard
Kugel is
shenanigans.
the absolute master of finding things that everyone's been looking for and wasting them.
Yeah,
completely wasting them, making sure no one wins.
Leaving every place he visited way worse than it was
measurably worse.
Which wizard comes back and is just like, okay, there's a chance I can find it again. Because it just doesn't really truly die. It just drifts through time and space. So what I'm going to do, I've made some calculations. I'm going to send you 1,000,000 years into the past. Kugel's like, ooh.
I'm actually working on a deadline right now.
He's like, well, it's basically, that or I can kill you. And it's like, all right, fine. So he gives Kugel a magic talisman that it's basically like the inverse of totality. So like if you just stick it to it, it's like a handle basically. So you just stick it to the little monster, and then the spell will break, and you'll be transported back to here. He's like, what if you're like off though? Like even like 1,000 years, like I'll just die. And he's like, that's a risk I'm willing to take.
Everyone dies.
So yeah, he just does the thing, sends Kugel back in time, and then he pops up in the same location basically.
Paris, France.
Except now it's populated by these weird, like, primordial people, but they're still actually, like, pretty civilized and advanced. They're just, like, they look human. He thinks they look kind of weird.
We're not Neanderthals. We're Homo Egypticus. We're quite advanced. We've nearly mastered the art of not shitting our pants every day.
I don't know if they're supposed to be, like, elves or something. He describes them as they have, like, articulating ears.
Oh man.
Like, so like when they
like
talk,
a fox.
Yeah, they like move and shit. And then he like tries to gauge their reactions based on that. Also, he was given a talisman that can translate any language as long as he listens to it long enough, and then he can then speak it.
Right.
So that's how he communicates with these people, and they're just like, you're weird. He's like, I'm a traveling stranger. Please tell me about your culture. And then...
We don't have those concepts. If you travel more than a mile from camp, you get eaten by wolves.
No, they actually have several advanced, like, cities. Like, they have, like, a whole, like, religion.
When the fuck is the Earth dying?
1,000,000 years from now, apparently.
But right now, we're not weird articulated ear things.
No, this is 1,000,000 years ago. From
But a million years from years from now, that's now.
Yeah, but they are like all this stuff is gone.
I'm probably overthinking it. Yeah, is what's happening.
Don't worry about it.
Because it's the dying Earth, and Cugel is the coolest.
And yeah, they're just like, all right, whatever. Well, you can like stay here. She stays there, bangs one of the chicks because she thinks he's interesting because he's weird and foreign. And then, importantly, he asked him. There's these weird flying guys like that just go past over top every now and then. They wear like these long flowing robes or just these winged creatures. He's like, what's the deal with them? They're like, oh, they serve the goddess. Yeah, when someone dies, they come and grab them and then take them to the mountains where they go through a portal to the...
I hate a million years ago.
to the moon. Where the
to the moon?
which is apparently the plane of the goddess. And he's like, how do you, like, stop them? They're just like, you don't. You just get taken.
Why do you need to stop them? They're only taking dead people.
Yeah. And so he's like, okay, cool, whatever. And then he bangs a chick. He's super happy. And he's like, cool, I'll leave in the morning. It'll be great.
Yeah, luckily we have compatible genitals.
Then they come for him in the morning because turns out if you don't wear, like, the ritual headdress and smear, like, the ritual ointment on your face when you go to bed, that's, like, taboo.
Huh.
Cugel, you dumb idiot. So we're going to drag you naked into a pen and tie you down, and then they make like a signal lantern, and one of the flying things comes for him.
Oh man.
And Kugel's like, this is bullshit, like I don't know your customs. And they're just like, them's the rules. And the thing grabs him, tries to...
You don't know our customs, make sure to slather him with ants too.
Yeah. They then wraps him in a cloth and then tries to fly away, but Cugel just grabs one of the posts and it's just like, no, like... And then he pretty much heaves and manages to snap it, and then starts beating it with the club.
Right, why wouldn't you fight back?
Yeah, and the thing's like, and he smashes one of its wings, manages to break it, and so they just fucking fall to the ground, and then the locals freak the fuck out and start panicking. Meanwhile, Cugel is still fighting this fucker and being dragged along as it's now like hopping, trying to get away, until he just gets off and then just... basically hits it over the head and then just like, haha, jackass, and then runs away and goes to get his clothing and all his shit that he brought with him. And then when he goes to the village, it's deserted now. I guess everyone panicked and left because he killed one of the angels of death. And
good, I'm sure it would have been exhausting beating all those cavemen to death.
Yeah, and then
because he would.
He goes back and he sees the thing. It's on the side of the road now, and then he like throws a rock at it, and it turns to dust. It crumbles.
Oh man!
I guess it just died.
They're weak to rocks.
He's like, nailed it. All right.
It's flying type. That's the...
Yeah. He's like, I got my sword now. Like, so if I'll get them if they try to get me. And so he like sneaks up the hill to try to, because he has a talisman that tells him where the creature is. It's pointing him up the mountain where the flying things go. And so he's creeping along up there. And then it's just there on a rock. Totality. And he's like, fuck yeah, okay. Yeah! And he takes out the other talisman, sticks it to it, and he's just like, done, nailed it. And then he gets attacked from behind by another winged creature, and he's just like, fuck! And then has a scuffle with it. His spell has been activated, importantly, though, at this point. That's going to return him.
Right, so he's going to drag the winged creature of doom.
Well, no, so he's fighting with that thing, and it breaks his grip on the talisman that has totality. And then...
So he comes home empty-handed.
So, yeah, he manages to stab the thing, but he's like, trying to reach it, and then he just gets yoinked, like, back forward in time. And then the wizard's like, so?
How'd it go?
He's like, you returned, that means you succeeded. And he's just like...
For a second.
So about that, I did get it, but then I was attacked. It was an intense situation. Okay, calm down. And yeah, just got left behind. And he's like, "You fucking Pete, like where? Show me where." And then he makes him go to the up on the mountain thing. And then they go through there. They go into the cave that was up there, and it's real spooky. There's nothing in there though. He finds the remnant of that talisman that he stuck to it.
Right.
But now totality has moved on. It's gone elsewhere in time and space. He brings that back to him. The wizard is just like...
I hate you, Cugel.
Yeah, it's like...
Why do you do such things to my dreams?
And he just leaves. He just walks away. because he's like,
This is the nicest wizard I've ever seen now.
well, he technically did the job.
Yeah.
And then Cugel's just ruined everything anyway. Like, and he's not gonna get anything out of killing him, so he just leaves.
He did fuck up everyone's employment.
Yeah, and Cugel's like, guess I'll be on my way then. He just leaves.
Nailed it.
Goes
I'm
away.
going to take my contact lens
Again.
back home to the other wizard.
Again, he just moves on.
Yeah.
On the road again.
Yeah. And
Just
then
can't wait to get on the road
makes
again.
it to a tavern where there's these weird pilgrims. Tavern's pretty stuffed. They ask for a room and dinner. The guy's like, ooh, best I can do you is a pallet on the ground in the hallway. He's like, damn it. I guess I'll take it. Like, and he's like, all right, well, I want basically a roast chicken for dinner. Like, and whatever sides you got. He's like, ooh, sorry. We only had one. And the same guy who reserved the room you wanted reserved that too. Sorry. Best
Right,
we
so-
can do is lentils. He's like, fucking shit.
What's the point of this? Why do you even have an open sign outside?
Yeah, and he's like, all right, fine. Do you at least, like, can I take a bath somewhere? And he's just like, we have a trough out back.
Whatever you ask us for, we have the worst version.
It's like, whatever. And he
You
goes,
ask for a Coke, we have Diet Tab.
yeah, he goes and basically just washes up real quick. And then he notices there's a shed in the back. And he's like,
Sounds like
old
that.
Kugel's wheels get a turning. And then he goes back inside and is just watching. And there's these weird pilgrims there. And then the guy who reserved the room is just some, like, he's basically like a big old, like, noble guard dude for them. Like, he's part of the group, but he's, like, not a pilgrim, not, like, part of their religion. And that's the guy who's reserved the room and the food that Kugel wanted. And Kugel just listens for a while, and then he just slowly slips out of the room. And then a different looking man comes back and then calls that one guy. He's just like, yes, there's an associate of yours who's talking about debts to be repaid to you, and they're waiting out back in the shed. The guy's like, that's weird.
Waiting just around the corner with a rock hoisted right above his head so that you can just drop it on him like a Looney Tune.
He's like, he's just like, that's weird. Like, what do you look like? He's like, oh, he's a weird, strange man in a big robe.
Certainly
With a
not
hood.
me without a mustache.
And he's like, I know two people who this could be. Like, all right, I'll go and look. And then he goes to the shed. And then as soon as he gets to the shed, Kugel's just there and shoves him inside.
Locks him in.
And puts the bar down, opens the
That
door.
doesn't mean they'll give you the room or the food.
And then he's just like, this is the innkeeper speaking. He's like, don't be upset.
You're
Like,
in tavern jail.
yeah, like, we'll make sure someone else gets your room. And then he goes back inside and he's just like,
What kind of Tom and Jerry ass scheme is this?
he goes back inside and he's like, I've been told that whatever Lord What's-His-Face had to leave on urgent business. And,
back as soon
I
as
would
I
like
leave."
his room and his dinner. And the guy's
I
like,
should like his room and his dinner.
He's like, that's weird. He already paid. He didn't ask for a refund. He's like, we
That
came
is weird.
to an agreement, and I gave him a sum of equal value.
Oh, Kugel. Kugel, you little schemer.
That sum is I didn't kill him with my sword.
And he's like, and to show you my earnestness, I'll pay like a little bit extra to you. Here you are, sir. And he's just like, oh, all right.
All right. Unless that guy comes back, I don't see any reason
Yeah, he
to
like
disbelieve
looked
you.
outside
Yeah.
real quick, and he's like, I don't see him anywhere.
Yeah.
So, all
I
right.
guess he's gone.
And then he gives him the nice-ass room, and then Kugel gets the nice-ass dinner, and he locks the door and goes to bed real happy with himself.
God
So long
bless.
as no one locked him into my mutagenic werewolf shed, we won't have any problems.
Speaking of Looney Tunes tactics, this man dug himself out from
Oh,
underneath,
no fucking way.
underneath,
The most unnecessary way to do it.
and comes barging in and banging on the door in the middle of the night.
Yeah, furious.
Kugel's just like, I don't know who you are. The innkeeper told me this was the room of an evicted patron. So if you have a problem, take it up with him. And the guy, pissed off, goes, and then Kugel hears like thumps
Yeah, I
downstairs. And there's a commotion.
God damn.
And he's just like,
Kugel is
God.
just Eric Cartman.
God
yeah,
bless.
basically. And then the next morning, he notices the innkeeper has a bunch of bruises.
Right.
And they kicked that dude out, like bodily had to throw him from the building. And he's just been outside
the
pissed
innkeeper.
off the whole night. Because he's still part of that group of pilgrims. And speaking of the pilgrims, talk to Cugel a bit. They're just like, you want to join up? Like, he's like, I don't see why not. Like,
God bless.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm headed that direction anyway, so okay.
It would be more suspicious if I didn't go. You guys provide food, yes, pilgrims? You're men of God?
Yeah, it was like they had like you communally pitch in some money, and then like they all just go together. And Kugel's like, all right, fine, yeah.
But I spent all my money on my room last night, so...
Well, so while they're traveling, they gamble.
That's classic pilgrimage.
Yep, that Lord guy gambles Cugel, and then is losing terribly. And in the middle of it, grabs his arm and shakes loose extra dice.
Oh.
And Kugel's like, yeah, what about it? He's just like, you're cheating. He's like, all you've proven is that I own dice, okay?
Yeah, lots of gamblers own dice.
He's like, but can you prove that I cheated? The guy's like, at no point did it seem like you were. And he's like, so there you go.
Exactly.
All I have is just extra dice.
If I was a cheater, would I be losing so badly?
And, yeah, so that dude hates him, and Kugel just keeps stealing everyone's money by cheating at dice.
God bless.
And they make their way through. Some stuff happens. It's not really important. And then they make it to the city that they're going to. They're at the end of their pilgrimage. At which point they go their separate ways. Mm. And then Kugel tries to find out he's the direction he needs to go to get back to that fucking asshole who put the monster on his liver.
Still working on that deadline.
And then he finds out the shortest route is to cross the Silver Desert. That's real hazardous. There's bandits be afoot, and it's a desert.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck.
And frankly, most deserts aren't silver. I'd wager that he's risking fairly a lot of heavy metal poisoning.
Well, before this, he had tricked one of the people that he had been traveling with, who was a low stakes magician who had a bunch of trinkets on him, and they kind of just like hooked up for a little bit, and we're hanging out, and then went to a tavern, and then one of the things they supposedly had gotten on their travels was a salve that made a blade cut through anything, and Kugel tricked him into thinking he got that salve.
Oh man!
And then traded it to him for a tube that shoots whatever the fuck blue concentrate is.
Huh?
This comes up multiple times.
The Baja Blaster.
And he never explains what that is, but people are like, "Oh, blue concentrate." Like, I don't know. Oh, it's whatever.
Is it bad? Is it like?
It's bad. It's not good. Okay. But it doesn't seem like he.
You don't want it on you.
People get blasted, and then it seems to cause them like pain or distress, but it.
He's just blasting them with paintballs full of cobalt.
I don't know what exactly that is, but it comes up multiple times. Anyway, importantly, that guy thinks he got that salve and applies it to his sword, and then challenges a man in the tavern to, because he like bumped his shoulder or something, and he's just like, sword fight me, you care, and then manages to kill him because the guy like sees him put the shit on the blade and is just like, oh, magic. Yeah. And then the guy's like, haha, behold, like.
The blade that can cut through anything.
Yeah, he strikes at a like pillar and it just shatters.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then the dude's friends are like, get him! And then they just stab him to death.
Oh shit.
And then Kugel's like, whew. And they're like, are you his friend? And he's just like, I'm just a traveling magician. He's like, behold, this tube that shoots blue concentrate. And they're just like, all right, whatever. He's just like, what about this guy? And he's like, he just had a bag of many of my trinkets I was lending to him.
So I'll be taking those.
And then he just takes all.
God bless.
He gets the bag of holding of goodies.
This guy was the closest thing to a friend Cugel has had so far, and he betrays him
handily.
As soon as he stands to gain anything, Cugel's the worst.
And then he goes and tries to. He's like, oh, okay, I got to cross the Silver Desert, fuck, how do you do that? Well, typically you need a group of at least 40 dudes to scare off bandits. And he's like, 40? How the fuck am I going to get 40 guys? All right. what about these pilgrim guys? What do they do here? And it's like, well, they're these statues, representations of various gods. He's like, okay. And he meets up with basically like a head dude who like basically manages these statues. He's like, all right, so look, I'm a magician, okay? I'm looking to get a group of people. So what I need you to do, because I know how this works, I'm Cugel the Clever, I'm a bastard. Mm-hmm. I know those statues are for religious bullshit shenanigans. So I'm going to trade you a bunch of stuff and you're going to help me out. Deal? And the guy's like, well, what do you got? And he trades him a few of the trinkets he had. And then we find out what Cugel meant by the things he said when all the pilgrims have gathered before the statue. This is the dudes he traveled with. A group of about 50. And before it, when they're doing their like prostrations and they're basically their things.
Across the little stations.
Yeah, and then the statue's eyes begin to glow, and then a voice rings out, and it's just like, "Hello, my followers! Like, you must take a pilgrimage across the silver desert." Like,
the penis is evil. The gun is good.
Yeah, basically, like, you gotta go and worship at this place. It's beyond the silver desert. You gotta go find it. So says me, your god. And they're like, oh, amazing. Total bullshit.
Yeah,
God bless.
He's got like a walkie-talkie even.
Yeah, and then in the crowd, Cugel springs up like, I will join this holy adventure.
Now that I have heard the voice of God, I am a true believer now, and we're all gonna go.
Yep, and so they basically form a caravan group and head on out. And it doesn't go very well.
I bet.
So there's bandits out there. They keep losing pack animals. Supplies get low at one point because a guy goes crazy and stabs all their water skins, or most of them.
Oh man.
So eventually they're down to like 11 dudes.
Oh, that's not a lot.
Like 12 dudes. Cugel one of them.
Naturally.
And they make it across, and they're just
I imagine everyone else is like super skinny and dirty and like having a terrible time, and Cugel is like finishing a sandwich that he stole.
Well, he's pretty beat up too, but he seems to be doing a little bit better than everyone else. But they make it across, and then where do we go? Where's the thing? We have to keep going.
Oh yeah,
believe in God.
I forgot for there to be an end thing at the lie.
Yeah. None of that's Kugel's concern. So they keep traveling, and they reach after the desert. They reach a salt marsh, which sucks, as you can imagine.
It's even drier than a desert, despite having water in it,
and
because of all the salt.
They see a little village, and they get hopeful, and they're like, "Wow, I wonder if these people can like help us." Turns out it's lizard men.
Oh,
of course
man.
it is.
Who don't seem very nice.
Oh, they're gonna eat them.
And then they keep going after that for a little bit until one guy is just like, you know what? What if this is bullshit? Is our God this cruel? Like, would he do this to us? Like, I don't know, man. I don't think I have that much faith anymore. And then the guy Kugel's been traveling with also the whole time, who's the most devout, is just like, no, you must have faith, brother. Like, we have to keep going. And he's like, actually, no, I don't. Everyone who doesn't want to keep going, over here. Everyone who wants, you go over there. So, like, 4 dudes, including Cugel, go to the I want to keep going side. And then the other guys go, and it's just like, well, what are you going to do? Like, you can't make it back across the desert.
Yeah, what are you going to do, turn around?
And they're just like, here's what we're going to go do. And then they go and they kill the men of the lizard village. And it's implied that they just steal their women.
God bless.
That's some pilgriming right there. That's classic pilgriming.
Specifically described as they filed the teeth of the women.
Oh,
I guess because they were sharp.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're just like, well, that just happened. Onward we go, I guess.
That reminds me. There's this manga series made by the guy who did Tokyo Ghoul, and one of the villains, her power is like snake stuff related, and when she goes all out, her power, she turns into a giant snake, but it has human teeth.
Terrible.
And it's awful. It's horrifying.
Yeah.
So now that's what I'm imagining all the snake women look like with their filed teeth. Just flat human teeth and a snake head.
I like how he leaves such a trail of devastation in his wake that I can't even fathom any of the previous characters coming back up again.
No,
besides like the original wizard guy. That's like the only guy that might come up again. Everyone else is either dead or buried.
Yep, pretty much. There's one exception, which is so they briefly have to stop at the lip of the marsh.
The one that honestly I was waiting for is the wizard woman.
That's what I thought too. That was sold into slavery. I was hoping going to come back and
but she's a slave now.
Yeah, I guess she's just gone. So she's fuck it. You don't matter. Yeah, I don't know why I thought she mattered.
Nope.
That's fucking crazy.
This ain't that kind of story. So this is a dying Earth.
They make a brief stop at the edge of the marsh where a ghost ship appears every night with ghosts that are reveling and having a party. And then
that's way better than normal.
Across the marsh is like a ghost city that always seems to just be partying. And they're just... It's like a magical compulsion to want to watch this.
I imagine that they're like right outside of like the like million years in the future ghosts of like Atlanta, like Atlantic City.
But so they keep saying they're going to leave in the morning, and then
there's riverboats going by
every day. They keep staying. So they lose a couple days, and then Cugel's like, "We gotta go. We gotta." And then he's compelled to sit down again. And then he just starts looking around, though, and there's just a bunch of skeletons. And he's just like, oh, no. No, Cugel, you gotta get out of here, man. And then...
Oh, God, it's not Atlanta. Yeah. It's New Orleans.
He drags... He basically gets two of the other dudes to go, and then another one is just like, just leave me. Like, I can't.
I choose to die
in
a Lotus Eater machine.
Exactly, yeah. He just chooses to stay, and they're just like... fuck, okay. Whatever you want, man. Then they make it to a fishing village, which they're like, nice.
Oh, you folks aren't from around here. You gotta watch out for the lizardmen. The lizardmen around here are, they're bad. They're women, even worse.
Yes, said the beast folk. So they get to this village, and it's populated by scary-looking people. They got, like, big old ears, like, they're covered in, like, fur, and they got big old fangs.
Oh, English.
And they're like, shit. And Cugel's like, fuck. Like, this doesn't look good.
I imagine that they're literally Beastman from He-Man.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
But the one faithful guy, and the other guy is just like, I'm tapping out. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna leave.
I'm gonna be one with the Beastmen now.
God bless, brother. And then he just leaves. Like, he tries to... he says he's going to go back to that lizard village that they slaughtered.
Right.
And then so it's just Cugel and this one guy.
Yeah, just Cugel and is it the head guy that's still left?
Yeah, the most religious one.
That guy's got to be so pissed at Cugel.
Well, he's...
killed my entire flock of suckers.
Well, he doesn't know that. He believes in Cugel. He's the only one going on with the pilgrimage still. But basically, Kugel's like, all right, look... these guys don't look like we can approach them. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait till at night, and then we're going to steal one of their ships, and we're going to sail it across that sea. The guy's like, I guess, okay. So they do that, and they get caught in the middle of it.
Naturally.
Right.
And then, to their great surprise, after he explains, he's just like, why would you steal from us? And he's just like, well, you're very scary looking, and we didn't think you'd be cool. And they're just like, oh, no. Well, all you had to do was ask. In the morning, we'll give you our finest ship and load it with provisions and send you on your way. And he's like, really? Yeah, he's like, yes, tonight we feast. It's like,
what?
He's like, sick. No way, dude. Okay.
I did not expect that.
Killer, yeah.
Well, the one downside is they're true to their word. But part of the feast, he's just like, yes, as a sign of solidarity and community, we have the stew, and then everyone's
people
lining up, and they're chopping off a finger.
Oh, man.
Everyone loses a finger. And he's just like, naturally, you're to be included, like, as a sign of good faith. And they're just like,
if everyone gives up a finger every feast, then we're 10 years away from there being an economic crisis.
That's just how it worked. I don't know.
From old nub hands economy.
Biggest loss Cugel has taken in the entire story, he loses a finger. Well, besides getting the thing on his liver and getting fucked by the wizard, but...
Hey, that's not a loss yet.
Yeah, so he and the other dude lose a finger, but they get to eat. In the morning, they get the best ship these people have, and provisions sent on their way. And then, they make it across the ocean. And then they see another fishing village. This one populated by beautiful golden-haired, golden-skinned people. And
They're definitely evil.
And there's the
French.
The poor religious dude being like, well, the last village was so nice. Obviously, these guys are going to be really cool, too. And Cugel's like, I don't know, man. I'm the cautious type. I don't think I'm cool with that. He's like, trust me. Like, well, it'll be fine. So they go up. And immediately they're like swarmed by these people. And he's just like, what have we done? And it's just like, in our religion, anyone who's an outsider is a heretic. So we kill them immediately.
How do you have new members of your religion?
They're born. Anyway,
Yikes.
they're just like, well, fuck. And then, because they just catch him in like a net. And they're going to just to stab him. But Cugel manages to cut through the net.
Still got rocking the sword. Finally, it's coming up.
This is that moment I was saying before we started where Cugel tries to save someone. He tries to save this man's life. Where the dude says, Cugel, save yourself. Like, go on without me. Cugel's like, normally that's my first move.
Yeah.
But I hate these people. Fuck them. I'm going to save you. We're going to go together. And so he, like, cuts open the net and they, like, gets him up and they start running away. Dude immediately takes a harpoon in the back.
Damn.
Goes down, and Kugel's like, "Oh, damn it!" Like, but he makes it to the woods.
Right. And the lesson he takes from that is, I should save people more often. Gives them something else to shoot at.
And that's a line of reasoning I could see Kugel having. Makes it to the woods, and then after a while, he starts noticing there's posters in the woods, which is strange.
Yeah.
And it's an advertisement from a sage.
Do you hate living in the woods? Come to civilization.
Do you have any questions? Like, no charge. Come to this cave. And Kugel's like,
Come be eaten by me. I'm a bear.
which Kugel's like, that seems suspect. I'm gonna go check it out. And then he makes it to the cave, and he's just sort of like, I don't know about this. He takes like a step or two inside the cave. Smells real bad. There's a door at the other end, and he's like, I'm gonna wait a minute. I'm gonna give it a sec. So he waits a while, and then eventually another guy just shows up.
Got lost in the woods.
And he's like, are you the sage? He's like, no, but I just finished talking with him. Advertisement, 100% true. I'll tell you anything you want.
Why don't you get
Really?
on back there?
He's like, yeah, go ahead, man. So this guy,
Classic
God,
Google.
Cugel.
so this dude goes in there, and he doesn't come back out. It's been like after an hour or two, he finally comes back out. He's just like, damn, Cugel, you were right.
You're a cool guy, and I bet you're a great friend.
Everything on the other side of that door, top notch, amazing. And he said he wanted to talk to you again. Kugel's like, oh, I didn't talk to him the first, but okay. And then goes inside, and then immediately gets a collar strapped onto his neck, and then there's horrible Rat Man, it turns out.
Oh.
Welcome to slavery.
Yep. And
Oh no!
there is in fact a sage in there who is also collared. And so the Rat Man, the Rat Man's strategy is they take people captive, and you're given the ultimatum of you capture 2 more people and you get set free, or after 30 days we eat you.
Pyramid scheme slavery. That's Skaven as hell.
And so the sage's strategy, the posters.
Yeah.
So he's like, look, I just captured 2 people, basically. I should be set free. And then Kugel's like, no. I tricked this fucker into coming into the cave. And he's like, and I tricked Cugel into coming into the cave. He's there. Basically, the Rat Men are just like...
So he's on my downline, so I get to see profits from him. And
so they're just like, point is awarded to this man for luring Cugel in, but Cugel, you weren't captive yet when you tricked him to coming in. No points. Kugel's like, this is bullshit.
I hate Mary Kay. This is bullshit.
And then the wizard still has 0 points. And they're just like, you technically didn't capture either of them. He's like, fuck, I only have like 5 days left. This sucks. And he's like, if only I had my spell books. But they stole them, these rat fucks. And then So Kugel has to spend a few days in there, and he's trying to come up with some schemes.
Right.
He's like, "Can I go outside the cave to lure people?" And they're just like, "I guess." Okay, important. That other guy who just got captured, he's like, he came to ask some questions about his daughter, and he's like, "Sick. She'll be looking for me. I'm gonna trick her into coming." He's just gonna. He's
God
almost
damn.
as much of a bastard as Kugel. Like, maybe even as much of a bastard as Kugel.
I was tracking her down because I was pissed off at her anyway.
And, so his plan is to trick his own daughter into coming in. And so, because you can go outside the cave.
Kugel's like, your own daughter?
Outside.
That's a really good plan.
So, you're allowed to be outside that door, like, in the cave. And Kugel's like, but can I go outside of the cave? I feel like I can trick people a lot better outside of the cave. And they're just like, I guess so. And he's like, but you'll have to take the collar off. That'll look real suspect.
Right.
And they're just like, okay, we'll take the collar off.
The
Instead,
wizard's watching this happen, and he's like, what?
no, we're going to take the collar off. And then they jam a fucking nail through the back of his heel with a chain attached to it.
Ah!
Kugel's like, oh, this is not what I meant. Okay. And so he goes outside the cave. Who turns up? The daughter. And he's like, oh, hey.
Listen, you bitch.
Your dad totally went in there and said you should go into... Yeah. There's that sage. Definitely in there. You should go in there.
And he has a chain attached to his foot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He's
Not sus at all?
visibly, this man is, like, captured
Well,
by an ostensibly
it's-
peaceable sage.
it's implied the foot chain is a bit more like...
It's subtle.
like incognito, sort of deal. But yeah, he just basically he gets her ass, like, because
And they have a whole other argument about who gets what points, and
he pretty much grabs her, and then they reel him in, like. So,
Yikes.
gotcha, bitch.
because she had an axe, and he tried to take the axe so he could break the chain on his ankle, but they were like, no, and then basically, and then he just grabbed her as he was coming back in, and then so he's just like, that's 1 point. I still got a point. They're just like 1 point to Kugel.
And the guy his plan was to get his daughter was like, fuck!
He died in the struggle.
Oh.
Because he was trying to stop Kugel from getting the axe, and Kugel just kind of cut his head off.
Classic Kugel.
Just got his
Bashed him
ass.
right into the head, yeah. But yeah, rats are like, okay, 1 point Kugel. And then the girl is now just in there, also chained up.
Probably pretty bummed.
And yeah, she is now like so traumatized she can't talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it.
You go looking for your estranged father, who's finally has put out word that he's looking for you, and you can't find him. So you turn to there's a mysterious sage that has put out these posters. He can answer any question. And when you go, there's a man there who's like, the sage is real. Your father is here. Give me that axe. And then the first thing he does with that axe is, in a struggle, kill your father.
Yep.
And now you're a slave.
Yep.
Pretty bad day.
Yeah. One of the worst days someone can have.
So then, time passes. Kugel considers sexually assaulting her, but it just smells real bad in here.
Right.
Jesus.
That really turns himself
Hard to get all
turns him
horned
off.
up with all the ratmen.
Kugel,
Yeah. He's chivalrous, if anything. He
Then-
needs romance.
Jesus Christ.
In the middle of the night, the ratmen are raided by the denizens of the under cavern, because there's creatures that live below the ratmen in different caverns, like in tunnels and shit. And they stole the girl. So the ratmen are all pissed off that they stole the woman. Meanwhile, Kugel takes advantage of the confusion and is basically like, yeah, it's a shame. Should really stand watch or something, and bye. And then basically grabs up all of his chain and just flees into the tunnels, managing to almost get away.
Rather try my luck with the moleman than the ratman.
But he doesn't know which way he's going.
Right.
And so he wiggles into another cavern and then comes across the storeroom where they keep all the shit of the stuff that they stole from people. Mm-hmm. And Cugel's just like, okay, my sword. Nice. I have my sword again. Sick. That's a start.
Has he used the salve that lets you cut through everything like a lightsaber?
No, he didn't get that.
Oh, I thought he stole it and lied to his friend about it.
No, he made a fake one.
Oh, I see.
Which is what he gave to the other guy.
That makes sense now.
Yeah, he convinced him that he killed the guy that had that. That dude just that was the noble weird guy. Mm. He just mysteriously disappears in the night. Oh. And it's not explained like what happened to him.
Yeah, that seems to be a lot of this novel where some people are just like, yeah, and then he was gone.
Yeah.
Which I think he just left was the implication. Probably. Like, because Cugel didn't get him. Like, he had to make a fake self.
This guy definitely, in the middle of the night, put together like, hey, wait a minute. The innkeeper who told me that my room was going to someone else sounded exactly like that guy who was in my...
Yeah, he hates Cugel.
And that guy sounds a lot like this new... I think that might have been this guy. Yeah. I'm out of here.
But, the rat men show up. Cugel basically manages to barricade the door. And then they're just like talking to him. It's like, Cugel, come on, man. How far do we go back? You know, it's not so bad. We'll set you free. And Kugel's like, yeah, I don't buy that. I'm Cugel. I know bullshit when I hear it.
I'm the clever, goddammit.
I've seen so far everyone that you've given that deal to die or be stolen, so I don't believe you will hold up your end.
They're basically in a stalemate because they try to like poke in with their lances, but they're really short because they're ratmen.
Right.
And then Cugel will just like stick his sword in and like poke at him, get some of them.
Because it's just as long as their lances.
And then meanwhile, he's looking around. He's like, what else can I use? What else can I use? Some tomes I see. That wizard said they stole his spell. Oh, okay, spell books. Fuck yeah, spell books. And he starts looking through the spell books. Meanwhile, the rat men are like, Cugel, if you don't come out of there, we're gonna pump in toxic gas. Cugel's like, yeah, fuck you. And
I don't believe you have toxic gas or pump technology.
Yeah, and so he finds the spell and he's trying to memorize it. I guess you can just do that.
So long as you memorize it.
And so he's looking, he's trying to study the spell as fast as he can. Then a tube comes in through the...
Oh, shit. They have pumping technology.
And he just grabs the tube and points it back out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Daffy Duck style.
Yeah, literally. And then he just continues to study the spell.
Ooh, that was close.
And they're just like, Cugel, we're pumping the gas in now. And he's just like, oh, dang.
Oh, no. My one weakness, poison gas.
And then after a minute, he hears like, poison gas! He's like, you stupid
fuck.
dirty ass rat man. And then he finishes memorizing the spell as they're trying to basically break down the shit he put in front of the tunnel. And then he gets the spell off. What does the spell do? Inverts all of the tunnels.
Oh no.
And just spits everything out. So now the rat men, he doesn't even know what to describe the things that were under the rat men are. Like, so everything that was in the caves is now out of the cave. And now it's rat men and those other things just killing each other, like in a big brawl. Meanwhile, Kugel's just like, oh, all right, I'm going to grab all my shit.
Hell out of here.
There's the girl. She seems like she's not doing too good.
Yeah.
And he's like, so he basically takes her away and then... Kind of fucked up.
He loves stealing women.
Cugel
always does.
It's described as like he tries to like bathe her, but she like freaks out and then tries to hide under a rock. That is literally what it said in the text. She tried to hide under a rock, and at that point he's just like and just leaves.
Yeah.
Once again, just goodbye.
Yeah, he just leaves her to whatever. Like you just,
all right, be dirty. Goodbye.
You live in the woods now, and you can't do any. You're insensate. But he's traveling around and he's trying to find those spell books. He's like, maybe there's something I can use in those spell books. And then he finds the spell books, finds the wizard too. Wizard's got his spell books back.
Ooh.
He's still alive?
Yeah, and he's like, damn.
You're welcome.
He's like, so you wanted these spell books, right? He's just like, maybe. He's like, I'll do you one better. You saved my life, technically. So I'll do you a service. And it's be...
I now owe you one.
Yeah, basically, be anything you want, because saving, owing someone my life, that's a lot. It's hard to
Yeah.
repay. And he's just like, can you get rid of this thing attached to my liver? He's just like, huh, I'm sure I can whip something up.
Give it a try.
Come to my tower. And then they go back to his wizard tower. Ratman and those other things still just murder each other in the background.
Sounds of Dynasty Warriors in
Yeah,
the
like-
background. So
Oh,
going,
man.
And then they go back to his wizard tower, and then the monster thing, Frisk, has caught on and is now like torturing him basically.
Oh, man.
And then he's just like, can we hurry this up, like, please? And then he's just like, don't worry about it, I just got to do some examinations real quick. He's like, oh, one of those. So that's an alien.
Oh, fuck.
And yeah, I know how to get rid of it though. It's cool. He's like, so all you got to do, and he mixes some shit up, and then like basically just rubs it on Cugel, and then does a spell, I think, too, and it rips Frisk out of his body. Basically, and the dude just is like in a jar. Got him.
I imagine it's the scene from The Matrix where they take out the
Basically,
thing from
like,
his belly button.
it's described as
The
like
most horrifying scene in The Matrix.
Yeah.
it's described as like a horrible mass of just like tendrils and claws.
Oh yeah, so it's basically exactly that.
And he's like, done. He's like, well, anything else I can do for you? He's just like, can you...
You asked for some pretty tame things. Most people are like, I want immortality or the ability to control minds.
Well, he's like, can you help me kill that other fucking wizard who's a dick? And he's just like, that's a tough one, actually. Like, wizard battles? That's hard. I don't know if I could get him. Maybe I could. He's a clever one, though, so attacking his, like, fortress, I don't think that's a go.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, well, can you at least teleport me back there so I don't have to, like, fucking walk?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
Part of me really wanted him to be like, teleportation only 2 miles, easy. And then he just teleports him and he's like, 2 miles!
Yeah,
Does he put him in a cage and hug him?
no, he just
Okay.
does, like, a boop. And
Okay.
then
He does it the right way because
off.
this is a good wizard.
And yeah, Kugel's back in town. Like,
Oh, shit. How long has it been?
weeks at least, I think,
Okay.
like, or months because of the desert. Been a while.
Yeah.
And then, but Kugel's back to scheming. How am I gonna get one up on this fucker who did this to me?
You don't have to.
Yeah, he does. He's Kugel.
He's Cugel the Clever!
So, because he still has the thing the guy wanted, the magic cusp. Remember, that was the
Yeah.
point of this.
That's
whole...
the whole point of this. He
Yeah.
got it chapter 3.
So, yeah, Kugel comes up with a scheme. Like, I know, if you only look through one cusp at a time, it dazes you. So, what I'll do is I'll get a glassmaker to make a fake one that's identical. Then, he's going to try to look through both of them at the same time. Bam! Going to be knocked out. Perfect, Kugel. You nailed it again. Goes to a glassmaker, gets one made. Glassmaker demands an exorbitant amount of money from him. He's just like, what?
For
right.
services?
Like, that's way too much. It's just like, how about instead of 100 terses, I think they're called. Okay, if you want that much, then you have to look yourself and like actually examine them both at the same time and make sure they're of the exact same quality. Dude raises them both. Gets knocked out.
Get robbed, idiot!
Kugel
Takes
just-
that shit.
Kugel just grabs them both real quick, and then he's just like, your 100 is now 3. And then just leaves.
Oh, man.
So he's got the fake one.
Classic Kugel.
Time to go meet the wizard.
I love making enemies. There's nothing I love more than making enemies.
What a bastard.
So yeah, he goes up to the tower, and then it's really he demands entry basically, and then takes a minute, but the doors finally swing open because they're magic. And then
Because he wasn't supposed to be back for another 2 years.
probably didn't expect him to come back at all, but
True.
the wizard shows up, but he seems a little weird. He's a little off. Seems a little paler. Seems a little uncoordinated. He's talking a little funny. And keeps asking a lot about Frisk. And Kugel's like, yup, totally still here. We can take care of that in a bit. And then Kugel eventually notices that, because a detail that the other wizard told him was that the entity, the type of creature that Frisk is, eventually they spread throughout your entire body until they pierce your brain, and now they puppeteer you.
Oh, so
Kugel notices there's a white tendril sticking out of this dude's mouth every time he talks. He's like, oh.
This wizard is full of worms.
Frisk's mate somehow got him. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
And did a way better job of taking him over than Frisk did for me.
He's like, I feel like this is a way safer enemy than a wizard.
Yeah. All this thing knows how to do is kill people. That guy fucking threw me into Africa or some shit. Like,
yeah, it's basically he tricked it into doing the lens thing, but it didn't work, and that was his first tip off. Was like, what the fuck? But then he notices the tendril, and he's just like, oh, okay. He's like, basically tricks it into like, you know what wizards do when they get something they want, they like jump for joy. You used to love doing that, right? And it's just like basically tries to jump and click its heels, and then just falls flat, and then he's just like. And just ties it up real quick.
Damn. Got his ass.
Just because it's a dumb fucking...
Yeah, it's puppeteering right now. It doesn't have full control.
It doesn't know how to be a person.
Yeah. It's used to being worms.
And he's like, luckily, I just learned about a mixture that gets you fuckers out of a body. So, he does that real quick.
I just learned of a mixture that gets you fuckers out of a body. And he just pours gasoline on him and lights him on fire.
Well, it's because he thinks to himself, like, I could just cut his head off.
Yeah. And then I have to do a Resident Evil fight.
But that would be too easy. He wronged me, says Cugel the Clever. And
he wronged me after I attempted to...
Steal from him.
Wrong him.
So he basically gets the alien out of him, grinds it into a paste, and like dumps it down a drain.
Damn.
And then ties this man up and gags him. And then just snooping around his fucking manse, he finds some kind of substance that seals his mouth shut so he can't speak spells.
Wow, and then, Matrix got a lot of stuff out of this.
And then he seals him in a glass tube that he just hauls around. Like, he's just the man in a jar now.
Oh, wow.
And then he just spends, like, the next, like, weeks or months just mocking him and then just, like, spending his money... using his servants.
The best part about this is that there's no way it can backfire on me.
He's studying his spell books, important, and
I'm the wizard now.
Enters him into a contest of grotesqueries.
What a piece of shit!
Yeah, he doesn't win. But on the way back, he's encountered by that initial merchant he talked to, who encouraged him to go steal from this guy.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Google, hey, buddy, pal, come on." I basically am the reason you're like where you're at now, right? Like if I hadn't told you what to do that one day, then you wouldn't have gotten the manse and all the stuff. And Kugel's like,
this guy's selling trinkets by the riverside.
Yeah, but it's mine now. He's just like, come on, we go way back. And he's just like, nope, it's mine. And then fucks off back to the manse.
That guy is tremendously lucky that he did not end up in a second jar.
Yeah, well,
that's what I was expecting Kugel to...
Where our tale ends up ending is Kugel's been studying the spellbook, and then knock, knock, knock. Guess who's at his door? That guy again.
Looking for another handout.
Yep, he's just like, look, man, come on. I just want some of the stuff. Like, just a little bit. You can keep everything else. And he's just like, nope, I'm Kugel. It's mine.
Yeah, I wouldn't give anything to this guy.
And then he's just like...
He tricked you.
All right, well... I have this flask of poison gas. Like, it's like, if you don't give me some of the stuff, I'll smash it right now. And Kugel's like, no.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then tries to stab him real quick. Yeah. And the dude just and then he throws the vial into the air, which Kugel goes to catch. Then the dude just like tackles him real quick.
Right.
Which bumps Kugel into the wizard's glass tube, which knocks it over and shatters it.
Right.
And then meanwhile, him and the other dude are still struggling. Kugel trying to stab him. Wizard's now taking a piece of glass and trying to cut his mouth open.
Oh.
Until Kugel basically gets this dude. He takes out the tube of blue concentrate and sprays the wizard with it. He's like, ah.
Baja blast his ass.
Yeah. And then he gets the upper hand on the other guy, and then he's got a sword, so he's just like, all right, you two against the wall.
Yeah.
Ties him up, and he's like, now outside, I'm gonna cast some spells on ya. And then he can only hold one spell at a time because he's not been studying very long. He's not very good at it.
He's not even level 1 yet.
So his
He's only
first
got the
one,
initiate feat.
he attempts to cast that spell that the wizard threatened to cast on him, which is you get entombed 40 miles beneath the earth forever.
Right.
So Cugel tries to cast this spell on the merchant, and he fucks it up and inverts the spell.
Puts him in the sky.
Nope. Oh. So everybody who's been locked on the ground nearby just goes like hurling out of the ground. Some of them who have been underground for so long, their clothes have turned to dust, and they're just staring around and are like, "I can move." And Kugel's like, "Damn,
why didn't I age?"
Yeah. Kugel's like, "Fuck. All right, well, I'll now cast the spell of transposition, the same one he used on me, and I'll send you to the same spot he put me in."
Send your ass to Timbuktu.
And then he casts the spell, and he falters at one point. Right. Same thing. The spell inverts.
Everybody who got sent away comes rocketing back.
Scoops up Cugel.
Oh, sends his ass away again
to the same spot he got sent to at the very beginning. The cage is right there.
Welcome to the bottom of the hill, Sisyphus.
And then Cugel the Fool sits down and stares off at the sunset. End of story.
Cugel the Fool.
Cugel played his own ass.
Oh my god!
And I thought that was. They don't call him Cugel the Fool, but that was how I interpreted it. Was that Cugel the Clever? The very end of the story, made a fool of himself.
Yep, absolutely.
Thought he was.
Fancied himself a wizard. All he had to do was stab them in the fucking throat or something, and you win. But nope, not good enough.
He thought he was so clever.
Yeah,
no.
He thought he was.
Many times he was like. He got a one over on fucking almost everybody.
Kugel's journey very much mirrors every sitcom episode where the characters win the lottery and they end up right back where they started.
Reset to 1.
Yep, reset to 1.
And with that, we're going to end this episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this content, go ahead and give me a like and subscribe on YouTube at Fanfare. You can also follow me on Twitch at Furious Fanfare. And you can also follow us on Twitter at Fanfare. Or also, if you have an idea for the content of an episode, you can go ahead and tweet that to @TheSmugGrape.
We're also on Blue Sky now, right?
And we're also on Blue Sky now. We're trying to kill Twitter. I don't like it too much, so we're on Blue Sky. You can find me there under the tag Fanfare. And with that, have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.